Hello everybody, Navy Vet 76 out in the garage. I wanted to do a quick video on the way I make my Kropatcheck 8mm bullets and how I got started. Well, I bought the Kropatcheck a few years back, and along with it came about 1,000 rounds of these. And this, as you can see, is a wood bullet, and I believe it is filled with smokeless powder, and it has a Berdan primer. Now these bullets have a date stamp. They vary. Okay, that says 1904. If I can get it to focus. Sometimes I can do that. I don't know if I can get it to, trying to get it to focus. All right, you'll just have to take my word for it. It says 1904 on. Well, as you know, bullets are non-existent for the Kropatcheck. You actually have to make them. Well, I had the bright idea of taking these bullets and pulling the wood out, the wood bullet out, and inside is a cotton ball and powder. And so what I did was I reloaded them. This is one originally that I reloaded. Still has the Berdan primer, but I put smokeless powder in there. I, at the top of my head, can't tell you what that is. And I used a 338 bullet mold, and I resized the bullet to 331 thousandths, I believe. And when you do that, you can see I had to turn the neck, because the original bullet, if you use this wood as an example, it mics down here at the neck at 326 thousandths, and you come up off of that, it's 326 thousandths. And if you pull the bullet, it's a hollow base. And that is pretty much what the original bullet looked like. It's more or less a bore rider. And the hollow base allowed it to expand and engage the rifling. And I would guess that the original metallic load was just like this. Well, if you go to 331 thousandths bullet, which is the groove diameter on that bullet, you have to turn the necks or they won't chamber. So that worked well for me for a while. But the one thing you have to do is you have to convert them to boxer primers if you want to reload. So you drill out the anvil, and then you're left with this Berdan diameter pocket. So you have to make a bushing, as you can see I did here. So the only problem with that I've had is if you go to reload them, the bushing sometimes will push out, and they're a real pain to make and put back in there. So another parent case you can use is the 348 Winchester case. And I bought a box of 50 of those, and I've had them for a while. And what I've done is duplicate the 348 Winchester is really close dimensionally to the Kropatcheck. So what I did was the 348s come, and you can see there's a chamfer on here. Well, that's what the Kropatcheck has. The chamfer's not on there originally, so you have to, I put them in a lathe, and I turned the chamfer, and dimensionally should be roughly the same. I used calipers and kind of eyeballed it. Also, the diameter back here at the base is 4 thousandths bigger, and it's just big enough it won't go in your sizing die. So I had to turn that down. And the last thing is, now let me move the camera, is now I have set up this to turn these, and when I mic the what I did before, I have a wall thickness of 10 thousandths. I don't know if it's showing up or not. So I've been turning. I set the neck tool. I forget what this is called, but y'all know what it is. I set that to 10 thousandths wall thickness, and these right out of the box are 13 thousandths. So you're only taking out a couple of thousandths, but that's just enough that they will not chamber unless you trim that down. So that's where I'm at with these. And that's the finished case ready for reload for the Kropatcheck. It's a lot of work, and I think it's worth the effort if you really enjoy shooting the Kropatcheck. But converting these, the original cases, is a lot of work. And the first time you fire them, you get a lot of case failures because they're so old and the brass is brittle. But the ones that don't fail, I've annealed the cases pretty good, and they seem to last quite a bit. This one may be 2 or 3 firings out of it. I can't really honestly tell you. And this is an original reload that most of these are, they either fire or they don't. And if they do fire, there's quite a bit of delay before ignition. But in order to, if you want to use this brass, you have to get rid of that primer. And I'd rather try and fire it first and have it be a dud than not fire it and then try to knock that primer out of there and have an ignition. So that's what I've been doing today. I'm going to do another video on the Kropatcheck with my new cases, and I'll update you after that's all done. I've got the Lee lead melting pot set up, and I'm going to do some more 348, and I'm going to coat them with A-LOX this time because it seems to have worked. I've done powder coating, and A-LOX is really messy, but it works well. And my lubricizer's down until I get another pressure screw. The base of my pressure screw busted, so I can't use my lubricizer. So I have to go back to the Lee sizing method, the Lee sizing die, and I'll just hit them with some A-LOX and run them through the Lee sizing die, and they'll be ready to go. But that's how I do it, folks. That's how I'm doing it this time. And I just thought you'd be interested in that. And if not, well, thanks for your time. Have a great day.